What's up, NIO family? It's Rey-Jay back with another video. And in this one, I want to break down what's happening with NIO, Tesla SPY, and the overall market. Just know that I am not a financial planner, so take nothing I'm saying as financial advice whatsoever. And also, if you guys can, please check out my Moomoo link that's down below, or use my QR code right here to sign up. If you sign up for Moomoo with the link down below and deposit $100, you're going to get $20 of free Nvidia stock. If you deposit $2,000, you're going to get $50 worth of Nvidia. Deposits $10,000 to get $300 worth of Nvidia, or deposit $50,000 to get $1,000 worth of the stock. You're also going to qualify for an 8.1% APY on uninvested cash, and the offer ends very soon, so please check out my link down below to sign up. Anyways, as far as NIO is going, there is a head and shoulders like pattern that's causing us to dump, and I see us basically dumping towards 4.5 to fill the gap. NIO is still weak despite having record deliveries for November and having a total deliveries of 949,000 for all their brands combined. So we had some good news involving their sales, but it wasn't really enough to get the share price moving. And there is still some fear about NIO's margins and the fact that they decreased their guidance for Q4. So not the best of news. There was also a decrease in the overall deliveries in November compared to like what we saw in October. You guys can see the numbers, sorry, right over here. But overall, November was still their second best month in history, and I'm hoping we get a very, very strong December to offset their losses. Besides that, the price price ratio is falling. You guys can see it right here. This tells us that NIO is losing strength, and for now, we are still bearish compared to the US markets. For the US markets, the Fed is once again continuing to change their policy, and they're buying back more of these treasury bonds. You can see they're continuing to buy them back over and over again. And as a result, we're seeing the market being very confident and happy about that. With the weak jobs numbers that came out, there's also an increased probability of the Fed giving us a cut in December. And heading into tomorrow, we just have some jobs numbers in the morning and then some bill auctions, and that's pretty much it. There's nothing too significant for earnings besides Dollar General and a few more, and that's it for now. So what do I see for NIO? Like I said, head and shoulders like pattern. Unless we get back above $5, we're still favoring downside. There's a gap to fill down here at 4.47, so I still see us continuing to fall. I think that NIO has more downside potential. The daily is looking very, very weak, and I do expect more downside, unfortunately, so that's the honest truth. Expect more downside to 4.5. SPY, however, is looking bullish. So unfortunately, we got two weak closes yesterday, and then today we just made a nice recovery. SPY is trying to bounce, but the problem is that we have not broken any key resistance. Basically, I'm looking at the possible left shoulder, the head, and the question is, are we about to form a right shoulder? If we get a rejection, the 685s, we could be rejecting to form that right shoulder before we see an end of the year rally, or it could be vice versa. So we're going to see which way we end up going. For now, I think that SPY looks bullish on the 4-hour and the daily now, and we could be going a bit higher, looking for 685 or so to retest this high. But keep in mind, we have rejected many times off 685 in the past, so we're going to see if we reject off 685 tomorrow or not. For the QQQ, this wasn't as strong as SPY, but keep in mind there's going to be some tough resistance around the 625 zone. As we try to push towards that, we're going to see if we reject in the 625s or not. We did get many rejections in the past. Let's look for some upside. If we break that, we're looking for the gap fill above. If not, we could be looking for a rejection. On the IWM, we're trying to push right here. We're going to see if we reject right here near this 250 area. It's going to be a tough resistance. If it rejects, we could be turning back down to 247. ES is still looking more bullish, getting very close to about 6880 to 6900. If we break 6900, we're bullish, but if we come short, we could reject and turn back down to the low 6800s. On NQ, we're looking more bullish for having 25,800. We'll see if we turn back down, so watch that very closely. Bitcoin has a nice double bottom here, so it could be looking for 95,000. We'll see if we turn back down or not. On Tesla, we're trying to push right here to 450, and we'll see if we turn back down, but overall, it's still trying to pump. Nvidia got a rejection off our EMAs. We need to get back above 180. If we don't, we're going to be at risk of dipping to 178, so it's still showing some weakness. Apple's also going to be favoring 281 tomorrow for a temporary dip. Palantir is still looking more bullish, favoring 178 to 180. AMD is consolidating, and as a head and shoulders like pattern, unless we get back above 220, we're going to be favoring a rejection and a move back down to 210. Coinbase pumped. We have a kind of like a double top here. This also looks like an inverse head and shoulders. So it's like a mix of both worlds. If we break 280, we're bullish, but if we can't, we could be returning to 269. I think it might revisit 269 before it tries to bounce. Amazon's been dipping, and we're going to see if it could hold 230. If not, it's going to likely be dipping lower. Meta is barely holding 638. We got to hold this or else we could be tipping to 630. Google is favoring some upside back up towards 322. It still could be going higher. Then Microsoft could be rejecting and dipping back down towards 470, so be careful. The VIX is also dipping here, but we're going to see if it bounces or not as we're approaching support near the 15s. So watch to see if we get some kind of bounce. Overall, I want to say that the market is looking bullish. SPY and the QQQ could be going a bit higher, but be careful when SPY gets to 685. If this inverse head and shoulders will pan out, there might be a big rejection still coming at 685. We have not broken key resistance yet to be super bullish, to go to all-time highs yet. There's also a bullish divergence forming on SPY, which tells us that as we go a little higher, there could still be a rejection. I don't know for sure if we're going to reject or not, so watch for confirmation and see how SPY reacts to 685 and how the QQQ reacts to 625 as we go a little bit higher. But NIO, on the other hand, is looking weak, and this is still going to be favoring 4.5 to fill that gap down here. Unfortunately, it still looks more bearish. That's it for my analysis for now. Thank you all so much for listening, and peace out.